Okay, here we are once again, and this is probably where I lose all credibility with my audience because I am going to gush, and that's about the extent of it. Real impressed with this particular mod. If you have not heard of Smoant, I really suggest you take a look at their products. This was sent directly by them to me, and this is the Smoant Charon Mini. And I'll show you exactly why I'm saying that I just think this thing is something else. Okay, so what do we got here? This is the box I got it in. I have no idea if this is the final production box or no. Picture a unit on the front, a little bit of verbiage on the side. On the back of the guy, we have the contents, some more information, authenticity, code, verbiage on the side, nothing on the top, nothing on the bottom. Okay, so on the inside, a nice little foam insert. Keeps everything nice and traveling. Did a real nice job there. Underneath that you have a false bottom. Underneath there we have this, and it is I think a warranty card. Quality certificate, which you can't see because the light's too bright. Oh, maybe I can block it a little bit. Look at that. Okay, so there we have that. We have warning card about batteries. Nice touch. User manual. Again, I was able to use the user manual and understand how to use it. Nicely done. USB charging cable. And yes, the mod. Check that little baby out. Now, I'm going to just gush all the way through this because I'm going to have to be honest. I just really have enjoyed this mod. I really like it. On the front, a real nice large screen. Obviously Smoant on the top, up and down buttons here. USB charging port and upgrade port on the bottom. Okay, these are all the edges are chamfered all the way around. That makes it just really nice in the hand. Okay, not a heck of a lot on the side, pretty much nothing. On the back, a real nice little pattern. It says Charon Mini or Charon Mini or whatever. On the other side, pretty plain except for the fire button. That fire button is just sweet. It's got a real nice tactical feel to it. It's got a nice little click to it. And again, just feels really nice in the hand. On the bottom, we have some venting. On the top are 510. Okay, with some air porting here. Don't know any addies that still need that, but it's there. Okay, the 510 is coated and it is spring loaded all the way around. Just a nice job done. And I'll show you the size in comparison to others a little bit further on in this video, but it's just a sweet size little unit. Going back to the back of the thing, got a little finger tab here on the bottom we can snag onto. We got the back held on by magnets, 3 magnets. Excellent job on holding that thing on. No movement, no chatter, no noise. Batteries pick right out of there. I don't think I need to take out both of them. As you can see, well marked on the inside. Real nice white markings, easy to see. The 2 battery contacts on the top are spring loaded, although the batteries go in opposite directions. So keeping track of polarity and putting in the battery so it's up against the top first to push that spring in and drop it into place. The batteries load and unload real nice and easy. And like I say, it just clicks right into place, snaps right into place. Just nicely done. There we go. Nicely done. So let's get ourselves an Addy on here. Okay, so here's our screen, and you can see it's just timed out, and it went into the clock. They're a really neat little clock. It's more ornate than anything. It really doesn't necessarily tell time too well. The hands are hard to see, but there is a minute and an hour hand on there, and it does work. On the regular screen, this is in wattage right now. We have 45 watts. It says it's power, 0 seconds on a puff. Normal, that's the preheat. Over here you have a little digital clock, tells you what time it is. Right here we have the resistance of the Addy and the real-time updated voltage applied. This is the battery indicator. There are 5 little bars here. Each one, I guess, would be about 20% of the battery, and they'll start going away as you use the battery. And we got a couple little gears here spinning. That's kind of like a whatever as far as I'm concerned. At any rate, we take the two and press them together on the bottom, and that locks the power. So I can't adjust the power. It's kind of nice. You can't accidentally adjust it when you've got that set. Hold them again, and it takes that off. Okay, giving it 3 clicks, we're into the main menu. It's in power mode right now. I'll go right on into that so you can see what we've got there. You have minimum, normal, and maximum. Those are your 3 preheats. You got a VW curve where you can actually go into the thing, and I can show that to you. And you can set each one of these little bars for a different power, and that's exactly what the thing will do as you're going through and vaping it. As you can see, it goes through each and every bar where you can set it. I'm going to go ahead and cancel that because I really don't want to mess with it right in the middle of a review. Click it 3 times again, and we'll go over to TC mode. Enter into that, and you can see we have nickel, titanium, stainless steel, TCR, where you can set your own custom TCR for whatever metal, and then a TC curve again. Go into that, and it looks very similar to what we saw before, except for it's setting temperatures instead of power. So I'm going to go into there, and I'm going to cancel that. Click 3 times again, and I'll go into setting. In the setting, you can change the brightness of the screen. You can change the time. You can change the display into style 1 or style 2. Obviously it's on style 1 right now. If I were to change it to style 2, you could put any background you wanted in there. I guess I could go ahead and change it so you can see it. Give it a long press and another long press, and there we have the other theme where we have the time at the top, 2 battery indicators. In this case it's in temperature control, so you see the temperature in there. And it says that the material is TC curve. Obviously that's your mode. It's got 60 watts available, and it's a 0.43 ohm resistance. And while we're in there, well, let me do this. Go back into here, go back into settings, go back into the display. I'm just used to style 1, so I'm going to stay with that for what we're doing here. Screensaver, again, you can have different themes and whatnot. Backgrounds for the screensaver. You can set your timeout, okay, when this thing actually times out and goes to that clock, and you can do a factory reset. So I'm gonna do a hard press, and I'm gonna go over the wallpaper so you can see some of the different wallpapers they've got in there. Got a number of them, and that of course is for the theme number 2 and not the theme number 1. So give it a hard press, come back. I'm going to go into temperature control mode, and I'm going to go to stainless steel because that's what I've got on there. Okay, here we're into temperature control stainless steel, 390 degrees Fahrenheit. It shows that we're in temperature control, 0 seconds on a puff, stainless steel, the time, the resistance, and the wattage it's applied. Here you can see the resistance is locked. To unlock that, you press all 3 at the same time. That'll unlock the resistance. Of course, you do want the resistance locked for temperature control. That gives it a baseline to work with. And you can also press the fire button and the button at the same time, and you get the wattage. So you can actually adjust the wattage you want available, which is a real nice little feature. So press enter again. Takes us out of there, and we're ready to vape. So there we have the menu system. Real nice, easy to operate menu system. Everything's real easy to set up, get going. Temperature control, as you're going to see in further slides, works well, just very, very well. Now, couple of little nits to this. The front and back both, they are fingerprint magnets, and they will pick up smudges. They are also polycarbonate. They can scratch. I don't know if you can see them in here, but I've been using this real heavy for a couple weeks, and I've got a couple little tiny scratches on here. I got clumsy, knocked it over on the floor a few times. But I mean, it's no more than a pair of glasses or what you'd expect on a cell phone. With this type of a screen, this is just something you're going to expect. So I don't know whether to call that a con or not. I think it's more like a just is. The only other thing that I found that's kind of a nit here, watch this timer in the center. I'm going to hit fire, and you can see it's automatically updating. As soon as I let go of the fire button, it quits. That's just a little odd in my books, because I mean, if I want to see how long I took a puff, I'm not going to hold this thing in front of a mirror and watch it while I'm firing it. You know, I want to see that after I'm done with the puff. But there again, you know, that's a real nit. That's definitely not anything that I'm going to knock this mod for doing. Alright, so let's take a look at the performance with this thing, and we'll start out with the resistances. These are the 4 resistances that I tested with. Actual is actually done with a milliohm meter, so I know that's accurate. Actual was 0.18, the mod read 0.15, the next one 0.27, dead on, the next one 0.53, 1/100th of an ohm low at a 0.52, and the last one actual is 1.03, and the mod read 1 ohm. This is well within tolerance. This mod is doing a fine job of reading those resistances. Okay, the first test that I did with the oscilloscope was in variable wattage, and with the mod set to 225 watts, that first resistance of 0.15 ohms, and the voltage it achieved was 5.36 volts. The power achieved was 192 watts and a rise time of 2 milliseconds. You can see across the very top of that waveform, the mod come up to very close to that 192 watts and then slowly came up the rest of the way. That's not inordinate. I don't see that as a problem. I have no reason to believe that this mod doesn't achieve either the full 225 watts or very close to it with a 0.1 ohm resistance, which it'll fire down to. I just don't have the facilities to test that, unfortunately. The next slide, or the next test, 225 watts again, a 0.27 ohm resistance. The mod achieved 6.36 volts, and it achieved 150 watts of power. 2 milliseconds, dead flat on the top. Real nice output curve, real nice, and a very respectable wattage for that particular resistance. Next one up, the 0.52 ohm, 7.08 volts achieved, power 96 watts. Again, flat as a pancake, real quick rise time, very respectable wattage for that particular resistance. The mod is just doing a real nice job here. Last one is at 1 ohm resistance, and it's 7.56 volts achieved, 57 watts. Again, that same 2 millisecond rise time. That rise time just doesn't change throughout all these tests. Very fast, and again, across the board, real respectable wattages. Looking at that in a graphic format, you can see where it's a real natural step down. The power was always set to 225 watts, of course, and you can see that the wattages it achieved across the board. Very nice performance. Temperature mode. Okay, or excuse me, first the VW curve mode, 1 second step downs, and the first 3 were perfect. They were just following exactly what was programmed in there. After that, I started getting a little bit of spiking. This is a little bit odd, a little bit different, but it is still stepping down. It is still doing its job. So a little oddity there, but nothing that I'm going to jump up and down and holler about. In temperature control mode, I set the temperature for 390 degrees Fahrenheit. It achieved 375 degrees Fahrenheit. This is just excellent. That is close. That's sweet. I was using a single 26 gauge stainless steel coil, and if you're familiar with temperature control, you can see that it is doing its job. The ramp up was real quick. It flattened out as the temperature as the temperature increased, as did the resistance. Okay, it lowered the wattage, and then as I applied more air to it from the outside, it started rising again, started bringing it back up, doing a real nice job of controlling that. Okay, here we are in the last segment, and this is the Talk About It segment, of course, and the Smoant Charon Mini. This is one heck of a nice device. I really am having a great amount of difficulty finding anything to nit about with this. It's obvious that with the screen that it has, it'll smudge, okay? It'll fingerprint. You can scratch it. Like I say, it's like a pair of prescription glasses or a cell phone. You know, that's the kind of a composite that they have over top of the screen, but that's necessary to get a large screen like this. Beyond that, it has that little deal with the time counter, the puff counter, that it quits as soon as you let go of the fire button, making it pretty much impossible to see how long your puff was. So that's just silly. Beyond that, the thing is, in my humble opinion, just a sweet little device. The size of it, I've got a Vaporesso Revenger here. We're looking at, for all intents and purposes, the same size. Okay, something that maybe even more folks are familiar with when I put it away, but it is exactly the same size as the Smoant Alien as well. So a lot of people know that mod, obviously. What this is just real comfortable in the hand. It's got a little bit of weight to it. I'm not going to say it's heavy, but it feels substantial, okay? And it is made substantial. There are no rattles, there are no movements, nothing of that nature. The battery door snaps on there real nice and stays clipped on real nice. Everything's marked real nice inside, okay? The navigation is simple and it's straightforward. It makes sense. The functionality of the thing, obviously, you know, from the charts, it's doing a real nice job. Involves both variable wattage and variable temperature. So with temperature control, if you happen to enjoy that, okay, this is a mod that's going to do it. And quite frankly, it's going to do it as well as mods that cost 2 to 3 times as much as this mod costs. This is not a terribly expensive mod. They really thought of almost everything as far as I'm concerned with this particular mod. It's just a real nice vape. It's got good battery life. On and on I could go. I mean, it's just a sweet little mod. So I guess we'll just cut it short at that, because I can only say, check it out, okay? The next time you're in the market for a mod, you know, check it out. Quite frankly, I've got another Smoant as well. I've tested it, and the test results are pretty much identical with that one. They're making some really nice mods right now. So Smoant is really worth looking into if you haven't. I think it's a real viable option. I think it's a real nice option. So with that, peace, love, happiness, booze, sex, and drugs, all that good, happy stuff. And hopefully I can catch you on the next one. Enjoy.